Have you ever pulled out your credit card at the grocery store? That familiar swipe echoing in your head like a tiny alarm bell? You know the one. The voice whispering, "This is how it starts, right?" A little here, a little there, and suddenly you're buried. I get it. Last month, I stood in that exact aisle, basket full of the usual milk, bread, that guilty pleasure chocolate, and for a split second, my hand hovered over cash. Because credit cards, they've got this reputation. They're the villain in every money story we've heard, the fast track to regret. But what if I told you that same card in your wallet could be quietly slipping extra cash back into your pocket? Not borrowing from tomorrow, but actually saving you money today. Stick with me here, because by the end of this, you might just look at that plastic a little differently. And yeah, it might even feel liberating. You see, I used to be right there with you, convinced that credit cards were just shiny traps designed to lure you in with promises of convenience, only to snap shut when you least expect it. It's what we all hear growing up, from parents juggling bills at the kitchen table, from friends swapping war stories over drinks about that one vacation that turned into a 3-year payback plan. Just use cash, they'd say. Debit if you must, but steer clear of the cards. And honestly, that advice kept me safe for a long time. No nasty surprises, no interest eating away at my peace of mind. But safe isn't always smart. And over the years, as I've pieced together my own financial puzzle, the late nights staring at spreadsheets, wondering why the numbers never quite add up the way they should, I started noticing something. All those people preaching avoid credit at all costs, they're missing the flip side, the part where that same card, handled with a bit of intention, becomes a tool. Not a weapon against you, but one that works for you. It's not about being reckless or ignoring the risks. God, no. We've all got those stories etched in our brains, the ones that make your stomach twist just thinking about them. But here's a gentle reframe. The real misunderstanding isn't that credit cards are dangerous, it's that we let fear paint them as all or nothing. Either you're a debt-free saint swiping nothing but plastic-free purity, or you're one impulse buy away from financial ruin. And that black and white thinking, it's exhausting. It leaves you second-guessing every coffee run, every tank of gas, trapping you in this cycle of anxiety where money feels like the enemy instead of the enabler. You're not broken for feeling that pull toward caution. That's human. It's wired into us from years of hearing the horror tales. But what if we normalize something else? That struggling with money isn't a personal failing, it's just the water we're all swimming in. Systems built on interest and ads that prey on our wants mixed with our own very real lives. Kids needing shoes, cars breaking down, that quiet dream of a weekend away without the guilt. You're not alone in any of this. And the good news? There's a quieter path forward, one that doesn't demand perfection, just a small shift in how you see that card sitting in your drawer. Let me take you back a bit, because to really unpack this, we have to start with why credit cards even exist in the first place. Not the sales pitch version, but the human one. Picture this. It's the late 1950s, post-war boom, and families are finally breathing a little easier. But life's still unpredictable. A fridge dies, tuition comes due, or maybe you just want to surprise your spouse with a night out. Banks see this and they think, what if we could make borrowing feel normal, frictionless? Enter the credit card. At its core, it's not some evil invention, it's a bridge. A way to smooth out the jagged edges of cash flow without forcing you to drain your account dry every time. But here's where psychology sneaks in. That sneaky undercurrent that turns a tool into a temptation. We humans, we're not wired for delayed gratification. Studies, the ones from folks like Daniel Kahneman, that Nobel-winning thinker on how our brains trip us up, show us that our decisions are split between the fast brain and the slow one. The fast one sees the card, feels the ease, whispers, buy now, worry later. The slow one, it's buried under stress, tallying up the long game. And that's a trap most fall into. Not because we're weak, but because the system plays to that fast brain. Rewards dangle like carrots, points for every dollar, miles stacking up for that dream trip. But without the guardrails, it all blurs into debt. I remember my first real brush with this. Fresh out of college, paycheck barely covering rent in that cramped apartment where the walls seemed to echo every bill. I got a card with a shiny 2% cashback offer. Sounded harmless, right? Groceries, gas, small stuff. But one unexpected car repair later, and suddenly that balance lingered. Interest kicked in like a silent thief, turning what should have been a $200 fix into $250 over a few months. It wasn't the card's fault. It was mine for letting the balance ride. That sting, it taught me the first rule. Credit cards save you money only if you treat them like debit. Pay in full every time. No exceptions. Because once interest hits. And trust me, those rates hover around 20% APR. These days, it's like pouring water into a leaky bucket. You're working harder just to stay in place. But flip the script, and something magical happens. Let's break it down. Not with charts or jargon, but with the stuff that hits home. Say you're like me, juggling a family, That weekly shop at the store where prices creep up on you like fog rolling in. Without a card, you're laying out $400 in cash or debit, and that's it. Done. With the right card, that same $400 earns you back $8 in straight cash. 2% cash back, no strings. Over a year, if you're spending $500 a month on groceries, that's $120 back in your pocket. Not life-changing in a fireworks way, but steady. Like finding an extra paycheck tucked in your coat pocket come December. And it's not just cash, it's the ecosystem. Travel cards that turn everyday spends into free flights. I once redeemed points from office lunches and weekend takeout for a round trip to see my sister. $600 value, zero out of pocket. We sat on that beach, waves crashing, and for the first time in years, it felt like money had given me time, not taken it. Now, weave in the behavior side, because psychology isn't just backstory. It's the engine. Think about loss aversion. That idea from behavioral econ that losing $100 hurts twice as much as gaining $100 thrills. It's why we hoard cash under the mattress, terrified of the hit. But credit cards hack that. They turn spending, which we have to do anyway, into a gain. Not by magic, but by math. Simple compound-like growth, but in reverse. Rewards compound your loyalty. Spend more in a category you already dominate, like gas for your commute and a 5% back card on that. If you're filling up $200 a month, that's $120 annual rebate. Enough for a tank on the house. Or take dining out. Family dinners after soccer practice. Those hurried pizza nights. A 3% card there shaves off real dollars. But here's the emotional layer. It starts to feel like the system's giving back a little after years of feeling squeezed. Rent hikes, grocery inflation gnawing at your budget. This tiny rebate whispers, hey, you're not invisible, you've got leverage. And leverage, that's the word. Let me paint a picture from a friend of mine, Sarah. She's a teacher, single mom, the kind who packs lunches to stretch every dollar. Bills stack up like Jenga blocks. Daycare, utilities, that endless cycle of just make it to payday. She hated credit cards. Her ex had racked up thousands, left her cleaning up the mess. But one rainy afternoon, over coffee, I shared this wild idea. What if she used one not for extras, but for the must-haves, the groceries, the gas to school drop-offs? She picked a no-fee card with flat 1.5% back, set up auto payments from checking to cover it fully each month. 6 months in, she texts me, $75 back. Not a fortune, but it covered her kids' new sneakers. No debt, no stress, just a quiet win. And psychologically, it shifted her from money's always against me to I can make it bend a little my way. That's the power. Not in the numbers alone, but in how they rewrite the story you tell yourself at 2 a.m. when the worries creep in. Of course, it's not all sunsets and rebates. There are pitfalls, real ones, that we can't gloss over. That fast brain I mentioned, it loves autopay for subscriptions. Netflix, gym membership, but hates reviewing the statement. One forgotten charge balloons, and poof, interest rears up. Or the sign-up bonuses, $200 after spending $1,000 in 3 months. Tempting, but if it pushes you to buy stuff you wouldn't otherwise, it's a hollow victory. I learned that the hard way with a travel card years back. Chased the 50,000 point bonus for a free hotel stay, only to realize the forced spending on home office gear I didn't need yet left me with a pit in my stomach. Lesson etched, rewards serve you, not the other way around. Track it like a habit. Apps that categorize spends, alerts for big hits, make it as routine as brushing your teeth. Because when you do, the math tilts. Average household spends $5,000 a year on credit-eligible stuff. At 2% back, $100 saved. Scale it to categories, 4% on groceries alone. And it's $200, $300. Suddenly, that emergency fund grows a smidge faster, or date night feels less like a splurge. But here's the turning point, the moment that hit me like cool water on a hot day. I was at a family barbecue last summer. You know the scene, kids running wild, grill smoke curling up, laughter mixing with the sizzle of burgers. My uncle, retired now, but sharp as ever, pulls me aside. He's got that quiet wisdom, the kind earned from decades of blue-collar grit. Kid, he says, money's not about hoarding, it's about flow. Let it move, and it moves you forward. We got to talking cards. He'd sworn off them after a rough patch in the 80s, but I shared Sarah's story, the sneakers from rebates. His eyes lit up. Not with greed, but recognition. That's it, he murmured. It's not the card saving money, it's you, reclaiming control. And that's the shift, from seeing credit as a creditor's leash to your secret ally in the game. Psychologically, it's profound. We spend so much energy fighting money, the dread of statements, the what ifs of tomorrow, that we forget. Peace comes from agency. When you use a card to earn back on the inevitable, it connects the dots. That swipe at the pump isn't just fuel, it's future freedom. A step toward that buffer where life's curveballs don't shatter you. Or the mental space to say yes to a class for your kid, not because you can afford it on a whim, but because the system's little kickback made room. It's not about getting rich quick, it's rewiring the anxiety into alliance. Imagine glancing at your statement not with a flinch, but a nod. Yeah, we earned that back. That quiet confidence, it spills over into work, where you're less chained to overtime, into family, where conversations shift from scarcity to possibility. Suddenly, money's not the boss. It's the bridge to the life you actually want. So how do you step into this without the overwhelm? Let's keep it real. No 10-step overhauls or apps that demand your soul. Start where you are with what feels doable. First, audit what you already spent. Not judgmentally, just curiously. Pull up your bank app, jot down the big buckets. Food, fuel, fun. Groceries might be $300 a month, gas $150. Now match a card to that life. If travel's your quiet dream, that cabin getaway to unplug, look for one with strong miles on everyday stuff. No annual fee to start, something forgiving. I like the ones that give 1 to 2% everywhere, then bonus on your wheelhouse. Sign up, but set the guardrail day one. Link it to your checking, auto pay the full balance on due date. Treat it like a debit shadow. Spend what you have, earn on top. Then, the habit layer. Once a month, over coffee, review. Not a chore, but a ritual. See the $12 back from coffee runs? Smile at it. Let it remind you, this is working. And layer in the bonuses wisely. That $200 for $500 spent, plan it around real needs. Back to school clothes, not impulse gadgets. If family's in the mix, make it a team thing. My partner and I tag team. She scouts deals, I track points. Turns budgeting into banter, not battle. And if debt's lurking from before, pause here. Build that payoff first. Snowball the small balances for momentum. Only then invite the card in. It's realistic because it's phased. One change, one win at a time. No pressure to max rewards overnight. Just consistent, like watering a plant. Watch the savings sprout, $50 here, $100 there, into something that eases the squeeze on rent or that nagging car payment. Oh, and a whisper on the family front because money touches everything tender there. Remember those pressures. The keep up with school fundraisers, the guilt over not affording the big trip. Cards can soften that edge. Points for family flights mean memories without the mortgage level hit. But talk it out. Share the why with your people. This helps us stretch so we can say yes more. It models something powerful. Intention over impulse. And for the solo folks grinding through work stress, that commute rebate, it's gas money reclaimed for a hobby, a book, a breath, small anchors in the storm. As we wrap this up, I want you to sit with that feeling for a second. The one that says, maybe I don't have to fight every dollar. Because you don't. Credit cards aren't the enemy, they're just a mirror reflecting back how we choose to wield them. And choosing wisely, it doesn't erase the hard days, the unexpected vet bill, or that dip in hours at work, but it arms you. Quiets the noise just enough to hear your own voice amid the chaos. You're already doing so much right. Showing up, seeking these stories, asking the questions. That's not small. That's the spark. Progress here isn't about flawless statements or maxed rewards. It's the peace of knowing you've tilted the scales, even a degree, toward ease. So next time you reach for that card, pause. Not in fear, but in possibility. What could it build for you today? A little extra in the jar for rainy days, or the freedom to linger longer at the park with the ones you love. Thanks for sharing this space with me. If any of this resonated, that hook in the grocery aisle, Sarah's sneakers, or just the relief of a reframe, drop a note below. What's one spend you'd love to turn into savings? Hit that like if you're feeling a bit lighter. Subscribe for more of these unhurried chats on the money side of life. Until next time, be kind to your wallet and to yourself. Take care.